Hello and welcome to this very special masterclass. The theme and the title of this session today is the manifestation secret nobody is talking about yet. This is why I believe we've been thinking about manifestation a little bit backwards. So for those of you that are new to my work, I'm Sarah Prout. I'm a best-selling author. I'm an artist, I'm a creative entrepreneur, and I have been teaching manifestation now for nearly 20 years. So however our paths have managed to cross at this exact and precise point in time, I'm so grateful for this opportunity to connect, whether you are listening to this as a bonus episode of the Manifest podcast, or you're listening to this as an audio on YouTube or in one of my various online communities on the magical internet. So I want to begin today with a little bit of a confession. So as I mentioned, for almost 20 years, manifestation has been my life's work. I've written books, I've recorded meditations, I've interviewed and worked with some pretty extraordinary people. I've shared this message with millions of people around the world. So what I'm about to tell you surprised me just as much as it might surprise you. And I can't wait to share this with you because I think I was missing something. And this is a big thing to admit. And it's not because manifestation doesn't work. It's because I think we've been starting in the wrong place. And so I began this research project probably around 2 years ago now to really peel back the layers and examine a lot of the metaphysical principles that I had been teaching. And what I've noticed, especially in the last 5 years, is there seems to be an influx of new manifestation teachers, people that just discovered the law of attraction a few years ago and now they're deciding to teach it. But I started feeling really disgruntled by what I was seeing. And it was like the universe or my inner guidance system was nudging me to say, hey, Sarah, there's more to this and you have to dig a little bit deeper. And so today I want to introduce you to an idea that I've been quietly developing as I have simultaneously been traveling through one of the most difficult and challenging times of my life over the last 2 years. I affectionately label this now as a season of struggle. And so what I want to introduce you to is this idea, and it's called, drumroll please, creative manifestation. And I believe it has the potential to change how we think about manifestation forever and potentially reframe all of the practices, all of the things that you may have tried over the years that just simply haven't delivered the results that you wish and desire to see manifest into your reality. So there's a question that we've been asking, and for years we've asked it. It's, how do I manifest what I want? And I mean, how do I manifest more money? How do I manifest love or a soulmate or vibrant health? Or how do I manifest my purpose? What is my purpose here on this beautiful earth? How do I manifest success? And the question itself seems perfectly reasonable on the surface, right? But what if that's the wrong question? And this is where I started my journey, because the question assumes manifestation begins with receiving. How do I manifest what I want? And I don't think that it begins with receiving anymore. So here's what changed my mind. As I said, the last 2 years, maybe 3 years, have been some of the hardest years of my life. Many people would refer to that as their dark night of the soul. And so there were days where I wasn't trying to manifest anything. I felt like the worst manifestation teacher on the planet. And I didn't know why I was manifesting all of this struggle and chaos and all of these trials and tribulations. There was a purpose to it. So bear with me here. I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about what unfolded throughout that time. So during this time, I was simply trying to stay connected to myself as much as I could. And in November of 2024, actually, no, November 2025, gosh, the years go quickly, don't they? November 2025 was one of the most difficult months I have ever experienced in my life. And I'm not going to go into the story because I'm a big believer that we are not our stories. Even though they are useful, it's just not important right now to illustrate how I got to the magic of creative manifestation. So I was really trying to pull myself together in a very difficult time where I was experiencing grief and uncertainty and anxiety at a level that I had never experienced before. And it was during this time also that I had written my book, Dear Universe 365, and I had to promote it. So I had all of these back-to-back podcast interviews booked, and I had to put on a happy face and pretend like I was manifesting my best life when in reality, I was really struggling. And so to transmute and alchemize those feelings of overwhelm and uncertainty and extreme grief, I painted. I went to a local craft store, which is called Michael's here in the US, and I bought canvases and paints, and I decided that I would paint my way to a better feeling energy. And I also wrote. I continued to publish Substack articles, and I continued to record podcasts, and I built new ideas and came up with different things that I'm, still in the process of putting together now. And it's not because I knew where they would lead. I just knew that creating reminded me who I was during a time where everything was trying to scramble my reality to, I want to say there were like these energetic forces that were trying to take me out of the game, so to speak. I felt like I was being tested by the universe. And of course, I've been through seasons of struggle before. This wasn't new to me, but it was this level of upset and feeling really disconnected from my own power, which is when I started to realize that creative manifestation was a thing. And so the painting itself wasn't changing my life. The painting was changing me. And I remember putting all of these canvases out, and I remember getting like these special, I think they were like these little ink bottles, and I was using alcohol fluid and this ink and a hairdryer, and I was making like these beautiful, vibrant colored canvases during the harshest winter in Wisconsin. And I remember my boyfriend, John, he'd come and pick me up in the evening, and he'd be amazed by what I'd created. And I had lined up all of these canvases that I'd completed down my hallway. And it was like I just couldn't stop, because there was this knowing within me that the painting was changing me. Or any time that I would write an Instagram caption or come up with an idea for a podcast episode or write a Substack article or work on my poetry book, that the writing itself wasn't changing my life. It was the writing changing me. And when I changed, when I shifted from feeling very powerless and helpless into active creative energy, my life started to change. And so what this showed me was that every act of creation changes the creator. Everything else grew from there. It really did. It was when I made the decision to move from Green Bay to Las Vegas. All of the signs were lining up, all of the things that needed to happen to actually make such an extraordinarily large move during a very restricted time of my life. It's like everything aligned because I was willing to create through chaos. And so, as you know, as I mentioned, I've been teaching manifestation online now nearly for 20 years. I started sarahprout.com back in, my goodness, it was 2007. And I created an ebook. My very first ebook, and it's as embarrassing to mention this now, was called You Are the Universe. And I used to sell that on eBay. And it was me kind of rehashing other people's teachings at the time. They were definitely not embodied teachings. And it was me trying to stamp my career as a manifestation teacher. And so this is what I've come to know now about traditional manifestation versus creative manifestation. And if you are listening to this right now, this will be posted in a Substack article. It's also in my school community, which is called Creative Manifestation. You can click on the link that is around this audio and it will take you to this graphic that I created that will explain the difference between traditional manifestation and creative manifestation. So for years, we've focused on attraction, the getting, the receiving, the waiting, the visualizing, the hoping. And none of these are wrong. I really want to point this out and make sure that you understand that none of these are wrong. But I think something comes before all of them. There's like a pre-checklist, if you will, that it's creation and creating. And so this is what I've come to realize, that whereas traditional manifestation focuses on the outcome, so visualizing what you want to get as if it's already happened, and I'm not saying that that's not powerful, but creative manifestation focuses on the process. So you create first and then you trust the results will unfold. And I believe that this is almost more powerful than manifestation because you're actively distracting yourself. You're not creating the resistance that can so often energetically get in your way. The second thing is that traditional manifestation seeks to attract, right? It tries to bring desired things into your life. It's all about the law of attraction. And once again, that stuff does work. However, what amplifies it is that creative manifestation seeks to become. It creates to evolve your identity and expand who you are. It's the realization, the acknowledgement, the declaration that you are always changing and always growing rather than a static being. You're just not. You're not the same person that clicked play on this audio. You're just not. We're always changing. And so traditional manifestation, it relies heavily on thinking and thoughts and being in your head, using thoughts, affirmations, and visualization, which is great. I'm not discounting that. But creative manifestation relies on creating using action, expression, and imagination. Imagine that, right? So traditional manifestation, and this is probably my biggest beef with the traditional manifestation teachings, is that many people wait until they feel ready. They look for alignment, they look for signs, or they wait for perfect timing, and they trust in divine timing, which is great, not discounting that. But creative manifestation means that you create to feel ready. It means that you take action now, and alignment comes through the creation. So it's thinking of it this way. It's instead of how do I get what I want, it's asking what can I create today? And instead of waiting until I feel aligned, it means that you create. And it means that alignment follows action. And instead of trying to become inspired, which sometimes could be really difficult, you create. And inspiration often arrives because we're moving. It's the energy of moving forward. And so when you're trying to change your reality, you need to become the person creating a different reality. And so creative manifestation isn't just another manifestation technique. It's not another shiny object. It's a philosophy. It's an invitation to up-level the energetics of embodiment. And it says manifestation begins with creation, not because creating magically makes things happen, because it doesn't. We want it to be instant, and in many cases it can be instant. But it's because creating changes the person that's creating. And when that person changes, their decisions change, their confidence changes, their relationships change, their opportunities change, their life changes, and creation becomes the catalyst and manifestation becomes the consequence. Are you following? I believe this is groundbreaking energetic work that no one is talking about. And I have experienced this firsthand by being committed to consistently creating no matter what I'm going through in my life. And so you might be asking right now, well, why does this matter? And you might be identifying as, well, I'm not a creative person. And I believe that everyone is a creative person. If you can have an independent thought, which I'm hoping you can have, you have the ability to engage in creative manifestation. If you make a meal for yourself, that is creative manifestation. It's getting out of your own way and allowing the energy to naturally do its work rather than trying to force things to happen. And I was thinking about vision boards because I've kind of had this like icky feeling about them for a really long time. I'm not against them, but it's like something just doesn't sit right. I'm like, well, there's all these people and they make their vision boards. They go and get the magazines and the scissors and they do the practice, right? And they put it up and it's there. And some of the things manifest and some of the things don't manifest. And I was thinking, it's because of the creative process that the vision board works. That is the fastest way to release the energy of resistance. It's the creativity. I've always thought it was like, well, imprint your subconscious mind so you're getting the visual subliminals in there, but it's not. It's the art. It is the art of being present and bringing joy to what you are creating in the present moment. And so, like I said, why this matters. Maybe you've been waiting. Maybe until you have more confidence or more money or more certainty or more time, or you've been waiting for that inspiration to strike and it just never does. Creative manifestation says something radically different. It says, stop waiting, start creating. And it's not because you're going to do it perfectly. It's because creation itself transforms you if you let it. So I don't want you to just believe this because I've said it. I want you to experience it because I think that this is where it can really begin to take on those powerful energetics of embodiment. And that's why I've created a completely free experience. It's the 7-day Creative Manifestation Challenge. And every day you'll receive an audio that's between 5 to 7 minutes. It's just one simple creative practice, one small tiny shift, because I don't believe your life changes when you finally receive what you've been asking for. I believe your life changes the moment you stop waiting and start creating. And so I'd love for you to join me. There is a link in the description of either this audio or this podcast or however you are currently listening to this masterclass. And I think that today isn't the day that I taught you a new manifestation technique. Today is the day I invited you into a new philosophy, something that I've been experiencing firsthand now for at least a couple of years. And in the last 6 months, my goodness, I have some miracle stories to share with you. And they're not just about money or abundance, because there's so much more to abundance than just cash. Even though cash is nice, I'm not saying that it's not, but there have been so many internal changes that have strengthened me along this season of struggle. And so, like I said, your life begins the moment you create and you stop waiting, you start creating. And so I would love to invite you inside Creative Manifestation so that we can explore this journey together, because you don't have to do this alone. So Creative Manifestation is my online community that is hosted on School. And when you sign up for the 7-day free trial, you get access to the 7-day Creative Manifestation Challenge. There's no obligation. You can cancel anytime, meaning that if it's not for you, you don't want to stay, you don't want to go on to the other incredible courses and legacy material and masterclasses that are in that community, you don't have to. It's all about alignment. And my greatest wish and desire for you is that you find this path and try it for yourself of creative manifestation. So thank you so much for being here with me for this masterclass, no matter how you're listening to this right now, whether it's on YouTube or part of the Manifest podcast. And I can't wait to see what manifests for you. Lots of love, and bye for now.